Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to walk you through how to set up a second screen on Mixer. We're going to be launching our latest version. I'm going to start from scratch, but this is an upcoming release of 1.2.3, and this is the free demo version. So first off, the easiest thing to do is go to View and New Viewport, and that'll launch a new viewport on the left, or I'm going to drop it here on the left. And so now we can see what's kind of simulating if you have two screens. So what you want to do is to drag this window on the left over to your second monitor or projector. And then there's this little hidden button up here that if you mouse over it and hit it, it'll go to full screen mode. And this is intended to be show presentation mode. So once you hit this, you're not going to see your mouse anymore. And that can be a little tricky because it's going to be hard for you to get in and out of the viewport if you want to make changes. But if you're running a show, this is super important so that you don't accidentally see a mouse while you're trying to operate the show from the same machine. So to give you guys an example, I'm going to go over to the content browser, the FX tab. I'm going to shapes. I'm going to drop in one of our trusty animated shapes. And right now I'm moving the camera in the viewport. So right now the control UI is controlling the secondary screen UI. I'm going to hit Control G to hide the UI, or to hide the grid. So now we've got a very clean viewport for presentation. If I hit this maximize, you can see it goes full screen. I still have control of the secondary viewport, which is something you're not really going to want to have during a show unless you're just going to like fire and forget, or you want to do something fun like use the keyboard to fly around and really just have fun within the environments that you're creating. I'm going to do Alt-Tab, and I'm going to close this viewport. I'm going to maximize the control UI one more time. So again, that was the view settings new viewport. And that's really going to get you started if you just want to start doing some testing and jump in and start being creative. If you're setting up a show, what you're going to do is drag and drop a camera into the viewport. That guy just flew out of the way, so I'm going to hit 000 to bring it back into the main viewport. And then I'm going to go to the camera tab. So we now have this camera that we just dropped into the scene as a little thumbnail here. We can sequence this with multiple different cameras. But I'm going to set this guy to orbit. I'm going to have it face our little mesh box. And I'm going to set this to something like 2000. I'll hit activate camera. And so now the camera, the view that we're seeing in the viewport is from the camera that we've dropped into the scene. And if I hit play, this is now going to animate. That's obviously way too fast. We'll slow that down to say 10 on the speed. It's opposite, where the bigger the number is, slower the speed. We might reverse that in a future update. But essentially now we have this animated content that could just be fire and forget. We can start to animate this in different ways, but there's a separate camera tutorial on how to do some really fun things to animate how this camera behaves. But you'll notice this little double box icon next to the Activate Cams button. And this is going to launch a new viewport, just like we did in the view viewport. But now we're doing it from this specific camera within the scene. So now I just click that. We have a handy dandy little clean viewport. And I'm going to drag and drop this to the left side to simulate what this is like in a dual monitor setup. So right now we're just looking at this on a single screen. But if you've maneuvered or dragged this left viewport to your secondary screen or a projector or an LED screen setup, then you now have control over the clean viewport from this camera viewport. And so now the mouse input no longer affects it. So if you wanted to be dragging and dropping content, this is a little bit more locked down. And there's other things that you could do when you're in a multi-screen setup so that the camera doesn't receive any input whatsoever, so you're free to go to a different part of the scene, make changes if you want to do things on the fly. I don't think a lot of people will in a performance live show environment, but you can if you want. If you're getting creative and you want to take your audience on a visual journey, you can drag and drop and start doing different things on the fly if you want to just start experimenting and having fun. And again, this is all synchronized, so I'm going to change the time of day. Now we've got this like dusk background. This is the kind of thing that you could be animating, and all this is going to reflect seamlessly onto the two different screens. So I'm going to speed up that time of day change just so you guys can see how as we're manipulating and having fun on the right side using the variables really are affecting the entire scene so that you can have fun doing many different things from the controller into a clean viewport. All right, so again, we've got this little hidden icon here. If we want to go full screen, just to let you guys see the full version. There's shortcut keys that we're going to be exposing in the next update, and we'll be able to point you guys to documentation on our website where you can look at the different key mappings. We'll probably do a separate tutorial video on hotkeys so that you can do a lot of this stuff just by clicking some different hotkeys to maximize, launch new viewports, do things like that. Again, if you want to get out of this, the easiest thing to do is hit Alt-Tab and just close this one down. Okay guys, so I think that's going to do it for this tutorial. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Some of these features are not available in the demo version and are only available in the paid version. The free demo that we're launching is really intended to let people jump in and start to learn Mixer, but also you can do a file save. So if you're just getting started and you want to learn Mixer, you can jump in, build a scene, and then take that .mxr scene file to a concert or venue or to your buddy's house who does have a copy, and then you guys can start collaborating. So the free demo has a lot of features like secondary screen support that, I'm sorry, the demo will not have some of the same features that the paid version does. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope this was helpful, and if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments, and we'll catch you guys next time.